Welcome to The Know, I'm Ashley.
I'm John.
No secret that the PlayStation 4 has been the best-selling console of the generation so far. That's not like an agenda, that's just numbers. Part of it, what's helped set it apart, though, has been its exclusive lineup.
Yeah, franchises like Uncharted, The Last of Us, as well as newer entries like Horizon Zero Dawn have been big sellers, and this year Sony Interactive Entertainment is planning to publish even more high-profile exclusives like Detroit Become Human, God of War, and a little game called Spider-Man. Oh yeah, and then Death Stranding as well. Someday. That game will come out at some point.
And it's gonna be super weird, and I'm sure we'll all love it.
I'm down.
In an age where lots of games have been shifting to multiplayer and games as a service experiences, Sony has actually done a great job of showing that there is still an appetite for great single-player, story-driven experiences. They have a beginning, they have an end, they take you on an emotional journey, and you come out the other side and then you buy another game to play.
Yep. Well, it also looks like Sony is going even more in that direction because the company is restructuring to focus even more on first-party games.
Interesting. In a release, Sony Interactive Entertainment said that it's restructuring its operations to create and develop the most attractive and powerful first-party titles, and that mission has become more important than ever. So that restructuring is starting very soon, April 1st. So really, roll over to the new fiscal year.
Yeah, I just really want some attractive titles.
Yeah, only hot titles.
I need them to be attractive. And it looks like the most significant change will involve Sean Layden, who is chairman of Sony's Worldwide Studios and president of Sony Interactive Entertainment America. Sony says that going forward, Layden will concentrate his focus on Worldwide Studios, continue to provide platform-defining content that helps drive the growth of SIE.
Meanwhile, various sales and marketing divisions at Sony Interactive Entertainment America, Europe, and Japan will now report to Jim Ryan, who is deputy president and head of global sales and marketing at SIE.
Yeah, and Ryan will also oversee the various regional branches along with SIE president and CEO John Kodera.
At the end of the day, looks like a commitment by Sony to making a lot more first-party games, which will definitely be cheered by Sony fans, not so much by people who hate the idea of exclusives, since that's kind of the opposite of what they want, but it's, been doing pretty well for Sony so far.
They got to make that money. First-party games have been working out pretty well for them. Leading that charge was Horizon Zero Dawn, which now holds the PlayStation 4's all-time sales record when it comes to first-party titles. It sold a whopping 7.6 million copies its first year of release.
And for a new IP, that's pretty huge.
Yep.
While a lot of big franchises go multi-platform, they're available anywhere you could possibly be interested in playing them. First-party exclusives are still the big way, aside from power and numbers, to differentiate a console from its competitors. Just ask Nintendo.
Yeah, even Microsoft has admitted that it needs to do a better job with more first-party stuff for the Xbox One.
Xbox boss Phil Spencer said last year that Microsoft will invest more to create more first-party exclusives for that console, because that's definitely been its weakness this generation.
As for Sony, this restructuring doesn't come as a complete surprise because in the past, PlayStation executives have made it clear that they're big fans of first-party games.
Well, and because they've all been very critically and commercially well received. I mean, knack too, am I right? Layden himself, during the PlayStation Experience 2017 events last year, said that Sony has most of its eggs in the single-player game basket, saying that they have a lot of love for storytelling and narrative, which is great news for all the people worried that games as a service is the only future we've got.
Yeah, agreed. He added, we do Horizon, we do God of War, we do Detroit, Uncharted, The Last of Us. These are things we're going to continue to lean into real strong.
And that was very well received by the crowd. Some of his other comments were interpreted as a bit of a shot against the games as a service model, which is seeing more games become almost platforms in which they keep feeding players a steady diet of DLC and microtransactions and try to keep them playing that game rather than moving on to something else. Which is certainly becoming a profitable model for a lot of publishers, but not. It's certainly limiting as well.
It's not how we want the entire game industry to be.
Right.
But from Sony's perspective, focusing on single player has proven very profitable. After all, its exclusives are probably the first thing that PlayStation 4 fans point to when defending their choice of the console.
Well, and from a sales standpoint, it's hard to argue with the success. Horizon Zero Dawn did great. Persona 5 did great. Used to be kind of a niche franchise with the latest installment. They hit a high for the series. That was 2 million sold.
Yeah, as for the PlayStation 4 itself, by the end of last year, its global lifetime sales were 73.6 million units sold, which put it comfortably in the lead for best-selling console this generation.
Yeah, as far as we can tell, Xbox One hasn't really reported numbers, but according to analysts and estimates, it's still in like the 35-ish range.
Way off.
Yeah, analysts credited the success of PlayStation 4 to a number of different factors. It was $100 cheaper than Xbox One when it launched in 2013, and also, yeah, I guessed it, exclusives. Analysts pointed to Uncharted 4 and Horizon Zero Dawn and Bloodborne, all those games that helped set the PS4 apart early on.
Yeah, meanwhile, the Switch continues to sell like crazy, helped by the fact that Nintendo has always prioritized its first-party franchises like Mario and Zelda. So it wouldn't be a stretch to say that Sony saw that success and might have been encouraged to redouble its own efforts.
Yeah, well, and also saw that if they were looking at all of the games that they've had out on the platform and seeing what does the best and what people are most engaged with, a lot of that is the single-player, story-driven stuff. So it is nice to see the platform wanting to build that up and focus on that, because I feel like we're going to need someone to shore up when all of the third-party publishers are deciding to switch to games as a service. We got to get those experiences somewhere,
Yep.
And if we can get those from somewhere AAA, that's great news for everyone. So we'll see how the reshuffling works out long-term for Sony, but for now, definitely looks like the company's commitment to first-party exclusives not only not going away anytime soon, but just getting stronger.
Yeah, what do you guys think of the restructuring at Sony Interactive Entertainment? Let us know in the comments.
And for all your PlayStation news, make sure you like this video. If you're new to this channel, subscribe to the Now. And yo, click that bell and become Notification Squad. While many big franchises have done a lot of multi-platform stuff and put up a lot of big numbers, first-party exclusives are still a way to differentiate. That'd make a great mod. Just turn every character into a penguin.
It's like a Batman Returns mod.